Now, Jim and Liz, a business owner who works at this building, which is also where that clinic is located, says it happened quickly. The CDC is reminding folks to keep a safe distance. Authorities say it all happened here. It went down in this driveway when the suspect exited his garage and started opening fire. Thomas is not looking too good. Now, you can see just how high the flood water is in the area where I'm standing, but in other areas, it's much deeper. Now, to show you what I'm talking about, take a look at that swimming pool in the front yard of that home. It used to sit on dry ground. Now it's swimming in storm water. And neighbors tell me they haven't seen anything like this in the past 9 years. Now, election officials in both parties and states across the country, as well as federal officials, say there is no evidence of widespread fraud. All eyes will be on this newly announced superintendent in Martin County as this school district continues to navigate this pandemic, and it has not been easy. The sheriff's office says that the county used $5 million of its CARES Act money to fund this new equipment program. Now, this wooded piece of property is where that mental and drug health facility would go, right off of Port St. Lucie Boulevard, in the middle of this family-oriented neighborhood where some folks are not happy with the idea. This neighborhood does not drain properly, so when there is heavy rain, the only way to get that water out is by pumping it out. So that's why you see this drainage system here. Now, as for the deputies who were rushed to the hospital last night, they have since been released. Live in Hope Sound, I'm Denise Sawyer for CBS 12 News.
36 years ago, I started at Parker.
Walk the halls with Susan Torres and you will quickly see just how popular she is.
And the kids love working with her.
Torres was a fifth grade teacher at J.D. Parker Elementary School for more than 20 years. And now she's retired. Well, sort of.
Well, yes, I retired 11 years ago. I knew when I retired that I could not be at home 5 days a week.
So she's back at it, teaching fifth graders math, science, and reading. And get this, she's doing it for free. No salary, no paycheck, just helping out as a volunteer teacher's aide. Tuesday through Friday, 3.5 hours a day.
Not Mondays. I said when I retired I would not work on a Monday at all.
Torres is making sure other educators like Dorothy Castillo make it through this tough year of teaching in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic.
She's made my job so much easier this year because I've got kids who need the help. I can't do it all. I can't.
We worked it out so that I could come and volunteer in her room, kind of pay her back for what she had done for me 30 years ago.
These two have history. 30 years ago, Castillo was Torres' assistant, and now with the help of Zoom and virtual classes, Torres is hers.
She is part of J.D. Parker. She is part of my family also. You know, we all love her. I'd be lost without her. I really would.
Just thinking about all the years, this is where I'm comfortable. This is what I enjoy doing. It's just a good feeling. I've accomplished something that day.
With crime tape in his hands, a detective with the Martin County Sheriff's Office ropes off the scene of the deadly deputy-involved shooting.
I woke up, I heard some pop, pop, pop.
Neighbors startled by the sounds of rapid gunfire tell CBS 12 News shots rung out around 3:30 this morning at this house near the intersection of Dixie Ross Street and Parkwood Drive.
So it was a pretty intense gun battle.
Sheriff William Snyder says deputies were responding to a 911 caller who heard gunshots coming from her neighbor's house. And as that caller was reporting what was believed to be an active shooter, her home was shot at multiple times. So deputies rushed to this area. And when 3 responding deputies arrived, the sheriff's office says they found the middle-aged man who had been shot. And as one deputy was trying to help save that man's life, the sheriff's office says another middle-aged man walked out of the garage and started shooting at them.
He actually picked on the wrong deputies to fire on because 2 of them were SWAT team members.
Authorities say it happened fast. Neighbors were sent into a frenzy.
Probably 6, 7 shots. what I heard, and a helicopter.
Deputies returned fire to protect themselves and the man they were helping. But that man ended up passing away, along with the suspect.
You know, none of us ever want to shoot anybody, but this was a clear case of self-defense. It was return gunfire or be shot.
Sheriff Snyder says no deputies were injured in the shootout, but he says it could have been worse because the suspect is believed to have had a high-powered gun. Inside the home, deputies also found a dog that had been shot dead. Now, hours later, a helicopter flies over as detectives process the scene of a shocking small-town shooting.
I don't want that kind of trouble in my neighborhood. If you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You shoot at the police, that's what happens.
Now, as for the motive, that is still unknown. The sheriff's office is looking into the relationship between those two men who have yet to be identified.
All right, I'm going. Okay.
We're still learning a lot.
Off the coast of Florida,
We have so many questions left to answer.
in the shallow coastal waters, are mysterious giant creatures that can get as wide as 29 feet and as heavy as 5,000 pounds. And with the boat in the water, we head out off the coast of West Palm Beach,
Go north, just kind of like right along here.
looking for giant manta rays with project manager and researcher Jessica Pate.
I had to come up with some different techniques. We're using the drone to help us find manta rays because it's a lot easier to see them when you're high up in the sky.
After years of underwater research,
Oh, nope, it turned.
tracking,
It's heading south now.
and monitoring these threatened species, Pate has made a major marine science discovery.
Oh, there.
She's now found a breeding ground for giant manta rays right here in South Florida. There were only 2 identified manta ray nurseries in the world until now.
And they're sitting here in our backyard and no one knows anything about them. It took a couple years to figure out that this might be a nursery habitat. It was an unexpected finding. As I collected more data, we realized that all of the mantas that we were seeing were juveniles. We get manta sightings from Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Melbourne.
If you look very closely, you can see it.
Can you guys keep eyes on that?
A giant baby manta ray feeding just a few miles off the coast. CBS 12 News dives in. We get close enough to capture the extremely rare sight, but keep our distance to keep the manta ray safe.
Most places where you see manta rays, it's mostly adults. It's very rare to see exclusively juveniles. And a lot of people are surprised to learn this because the juveniles are so big. At birth, manta rays are about 6 feet.
Jessica Pate is hoping her research would designate this newly found nursery as a critical habitat to provide protection for these threatened species.
We just don't have enough information, which is important that we continue this study.